Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, you're most welcome to another edition of the Youth Roundtable 2025. With me today, I have a panel of distinguished gentlemen that are going to take us through the topic. Our topic today is, what is your take on the Electoral Commission of Uganda's extension of the update of the National Voters Register by one more week from Monday 10th to Monday the 17th day of February. With me today on the show, I have Honorable Ariatwijuka Regan from Mitoma District and the chairman of the NRM Youth Cadres. You're most welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, sir.
Additionally on the show, we have someone who is so inspired about boys from the Boys Mentorship Forum, from as far as Bishop Stewart University, and as from far as near as Ivanda District. Mr. Ainoviona Timothy, you're most welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Mr. Regan, going by the affairs that have been progressing ever since the update of the National Voters Register was launched on the 20th day of January, to see that Ugandans who want to exercise their civic right, the Electoral Commission under Article 61 of the Constitution is mandated with the responsibility of seeing that it organizes free and fair elections. And one of its responsibilities is that it should demarcate a voters register that is fit for purpose to capture all Ugandans above the age of 18 who are eligible to be voters according to the Constitution of Uganda. Before we come to the extension, how have you analyzed or assessed the performance of the first 21 days they intended to cover the update exercise?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, once again. According to today's topic, which is about extension of the voters register update exercise, which started on 20th January 2025, and it was supposed to stop at 10th February 2025. And we saw the chairperson of the Electoral Commission extending the exercise by 7 days. To me, I can clearly say that the extension by 7 days, it is not going to yield more results according to the expectations. Because it's very clear that according to the projection of the Electoral Commission, they are anticipating to register around 22 million voters. And so far, according to the information we received at the place when the chair was extending the exercise by 7 days, he said that currently only 19 eligible voters have been registered by Electoral Commission of Uganda to be eligible voters for 2026 general elections, and which is creating more gap, because within 7 days we don't expect that they are going to push from 19 million to 22 million they expected to have. Because in the previous election that were conducted in 2020-2021, the total number of registered voters, it was around 18.1 million. So when you look at that, it means for these days, the ones like what I can call 1 month, it means they have managed to register 1 million. And they also indicate that the new number of voters, the one that we can call fresh voters, the ones who are not in the system, they are standing on they are around 300,000 citizens. Now the ones that I have recruited, and the ones who have been in the exercise to transfer their particulars from one polling station to another voting location, they have showed us that now they have around 200,000 eligible voters. So to me, according to what I can say, it is going to be very hard to capture according to the expectations, because these numbers that we expect to have, they cannot be registered right now. And what they called, or what they tackled as the main problem for the low turn-up, I cannot call it low turn-up, for the low registered numbers, the Chair of Electoral Commission said that it's all about the faulty kits they have, the machines they are using. And he clearly explained that for them they cannot go to handle that problem because the kits they are using, they were borrowed from NIRA. So we look at the kind of system that we have. They had a budget, but even the machines they are using, they are borrowed. And at the same time, when they are borrowed, even they are faulty. And they didn't look at the points how they are going to address the issue. Because if they have been faulty, for them what they are looking at is just to extend. It means they will keep faulty. And at the end of 7 days, we shall be there hanging around here and here. You know, we Ugandans, what you have to know, we as Ugandans, there is how we perceive things. Because we like last minute things. Like on the 10th, I tried to do a survey across the country. Every center where they are carrying system for the exercise from, numbers were overwhelming. Yet the exercise started on 20th January. But people at the last minute, it's when they realize that they have to go and they check their credentials with the Electoral Commission. So it means at the end of 7 days, even we shall see most of the leaders, most especially parliamentarians, because we saw the motion that was presented on the floor of Parliament by the Committee of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs requesting for extension. The problem was one, even the stakeholders, they are not engaged in the system. Even when you go around deep in the villages, like for me, I come from Kavira Town Council, Mtoma district. But when even you try to ask some of the stakeholders from there, they can tell you, for me, there is no need of being registered. Because they don't know their mandate. They don't know what it means for someone to select a leader on his or her own choice. For them, what they always consider, for me, I always interact with those villagers. Like I am not calling them villagers, people from my locality. They always say that for me, when a leader comes during campaigns and get maybe in touch with me, whatever he gives me, I can take that. Because it's like most of the leaders, they have set a precedence. When they go to parliament or in city councils or in these even district councils and sub-county councils, when they go there, what the electorates always expect from them, they don't deliver. So they be like, for me, whatever a person can give me during campaigns, I can take that one. So for them, they look at being a real citizen in a certain community during campaigns when someone can grab any single coin or any single note. They don't consider, they don't be bothered whether they will vote or not.
Let me cut you short. Timothy.
Yes, please.
First of all, are you a eligible voter to vote in the next election?
Yes, I'm an eligible voter.
Give us first a perspective, your own perspective of your community down in Western Uganda, in Ibanda, yes, and Mbarara, yeah, specifically, but also at university level. What has the situation been in regards to the update of the National Voters Register 2025-2026?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Once again, my name is Timothy Ineviona, and I'm a member of the Boys Mentorship Forum. So, to talk about this topic specifically, first of all, it is said that it is better to have a bird than having nothing. We must appreciate the fact that the Electoral Commission has extended this for only 1 week. But the question is, how will that 1 week be impactful? Will it be impactful for the students?
I want you to give me a concept of how has it been before we come to even the extension. He has clearly given us a situation where even people turned up on the last minute to see that they update in the last hour. But basically, how has it been in your community for the past 21 days that it has been running?
Okay, well. So going back to the community, I will talk particularly in the local people side and on the university student side, whereby the local people have to move and go to update their names or their anything in the design centers. But the question has been, have they been going there? Of course they have not. Some of them claim to have been doing their things, and of which they think their things way heavier than going to register to be an eligible voter. And when you come here to campus, you will look at people. For them, it has even been made easier that there are even links you can go through and apply. But still the same question is, are the campus students using those links? Or for us campus students, we have other things we have ventured in, and we do not think there is a good thing in trying to be an eligible voter, or to select someone who will lead you. Because these leaders, by the way, before we go to people going to register, who should clarify it on the village level, on the students level, that it is good for people to go to register. Because we should not disassociate ourselves from the truth. The reality still stands. We Ugandans, the electorate, the followership in Uganda, it is evident that most of us do not know what we want. Because that's why you will find in the village, someone will vote a member of parliament just because for a bottle of walaj. And when the roads have holes in the roads, and because he has not a car, so he will vote because for me I will move with my legs. But who are the people who are supposed to come and inspire people and tell people that it is good to go to register? Because if we come to this extension particularly, the 1 week extension, and the people remain in the same trajectory they have been in, will they still go there, or it will remain the similar case? Quite obviously it remains the similar case, because the reasons that compelled them not to go there are still standing and alive and well. So what should be done to these people in the villages? Because they have to go and register. It is the duty of these politicians. You know, Uganda is very funny. A politician like a member of parliament has time to come in the village, around and about, everywhere, to seek for the mandate when time for seeking for the mandate comes. But they don't have time to come in the village before the time for seeking for the mandate, to come and alert people, to come and sensitize people, to come and tell people about the good things to do with democracy, because I think I have a perspective that all these things go hand in hand with democracy at large. They don't have that time. So it is their weakness, those people we want to vote, that they are not telling these villagers. And indeed the villagers, you will think they are right, and they are right. Because most of the villagers, first of all, did not go to school. They are unlike us, who had the advantage of going to school and knowing the dividends of electing a capable leader. For them, they don't know. They will think it is just a matter of going and tick. And those are actually those who have taken the person just to exercise the right of a citizen to elect someone. But there are those, for them, who are actually worse. They will not even think of exercising the right. And even on the day of voting, you will find people telling you, like they have already started to say, to make disclaimers, we are not going to vote. Why should we vote? Those people are there in the villages. And when they are there, we ask ourselves, when will Uganda change? What is the impact of this extension? Will it, by the way, the question, I think, it should not be the extension, what should be done in the extension.
Effectiveness.
It should be the effectiveness of the extension. Will it compel these students who are just ignoring the links?
Let me move back to Reagan because he raised a very important point of the statistical coverage. That if you claim you have only covered 361, 432 in the new, as new voters, and you've only done transfers worth 292, 21. Part of the challenges, let me read Justice Byabakama's press statement on the Electoral Commission on the general update of the National Voters Update. He states in his letters, let me read the specific paragraph stating challenges. However, we have also received reports and observed ourselves some challenges that have affected the pace of the update exercise. Notably, the limited number of registration kits from NIRA and their occasional breakdowns due to old age. As we mentioned at the last press conference, the challenge of the kits has slowed down the pace of registration and update, causing delays in attending to people in a speedy way. The Commission notes, as we already informed the country, that a limited number of kits obtained from NIRA were deployed in the update exercise for registration of voters on a rotational basis in order to reach would-be voters. To date, update centers throughout the country are still characterized by high number of applicants lining up to register as voters or updating their particulars. Cases of machine breakdowns slowing down the update exercise due to frequent malfunctioning have also been reported. My question comes to you. Every 5 years, as people, at least for the deepest I know, we both attended university and passed highly. Yeah, with him. My question there comes, were we prepared for this exercise in particular and the election also in particular? Because if a NIRA kit, we just had the UBOS statistics not less than 1 year ago, and the kit with Ugandan taxpayers spent on money is already faulty. First, I want you as a member of the ruling party to first check about is it about your readiness as a government or part of the people you employ to work on behalf of Ugandans? Where was our readiness for this exercise? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, once again. It's a very interesting question that you have posed to me about what has been transpiring in this exercise. For your own information, and it was clear by the chair of the Electoral Commission, the kits they mentioned that they are faulty. They are not for UBOS. They are the ones for NIRA.
I think the very kits were used under...
No, during the exercise of UBOS, when they were conducting national population and housing census, they used tablets.
Okay, you have now redirect. NIRA does national identification registration, so it should have a better system than that.
Exactly.
So,
by the way, there is another person who commented about that letter, saying that how can you tell us, we as Ugandans, that the machines they bought last year, now they are faulty. It was on the X handle of Electoral Commission. I replied to that person that what the chair talked about was the kits for NIRA,
not UBOS.
Not UBOS. And there I can confirm and say that those machines, they have been here for so long. So when they talk about that, there I can agree. But then this comes. This is the process. We have Electoral Commission which is the body, and stipulated with some powers according to our constitution.
Article 60 of the Constitution.
Exactly. So they have been with this time frame since 2020 to 2025 when they are carrying this exercise.
It is their full-time job to organize
It's their full-time job. From the chairperson and all the commissioners. Even when you go at the district level, every district has a district registrar who is always occupying that office from the time when they vote to another
voting.
Period. They are always facilitated with vehicles, allowances, and salaries. But it's always absurd that when we come to a such exercise, you find that even the people who are around the centers, even the district headquarters, they are not educated, they are illiterate about the system. For me, even I cannot only say that the problem is about the faulty kits they are mentioning. If the people have been sensitized according to the exercise, according to the time that was given before, all eligible voters were supposed to be captured in the system for 2026 general elections. But the problem that they don't want to conceive and accept is that their voter sensitization has been down. For me, I was even disappointed. I called the registrar of my village, asking him about the system. And according to their systems and work plans, even when they are addressing the media, they say that every parish that is in law setting, every parish is entitled to be having a kit with its expert to conduct exercise within that territory. And when we come to urban setting, like town councils and municipalities, a parish is equivalent to a ward. So even it means a ward is supposed to be having a kit. But when you go on grassroots, for your own information, for like my town council, they have one center, they have one machine.
That is a population of over 5,000 by government demarcation.
Exactly. And even when we say that those people have been sensitized fully, I think they could have managed to capture some good numbers. But to my dismay, you find that even the entire village, few individuals have been registered. And of course, now we are in advanced technology. On some points, I can agree that it was going to be clear for the Electoral Commission to create gaps for online systems. We can say that registering fresh voters can require someone to be captured fully within the system. But like transfer of particulars or transfer of a certain voter from a certain polling station to another location, I think that they could have managed to work hand in hand with the Ministry of ICT to see the ways how they can create a link so that operation can be conducted online. I think that was also going to curb the numbers that are always lining up for a such system. And when you talk about the system or the ruling party and the people who are executing the exercise, for me, I think sometimes we have to leave the things of politicking and we come to the really matters that are affecting our country, our areas. Because even when you belong to a certain party, I know we have different political affiliations. But when we sensitize people and they exercise their mandate, select their leaders, when they go for exercise and they select the competent and real, I can say competent and capable leaders on their own, I know we can achieve more. But when we keep saying this system belongs to a certain party, or for us we cannot go there and we do this system, because the same body that is conducting the elections is the one that conducted Shabe elections 2021, and then we keep rotating such stories, it means we shall keep there and we shall not get a change, even if we want it. So it's all about, for us, we as Ugandans, and I want to tell you this, Most of people, or we who claim that we are elites, when you go for university students, when you go for fresh graduates, most of them who are around urban centers, they have not sloped to their localities to check whether their credentials are still the same. Because what you have to know, most of the times, most especially these people who are always having interests, someone can go and change certain particulars from your register. Because this happened during 2021 elections. In our area, we had someone who had wanted to contest. But for him, he was not following this system. He was like, for me, I voted 2016. So what I know, every detail of mine, according to the register, is clear. Yet some of his opponents have moved and changed some particulars of that person. They closed him from a certain polling station where he was supposed to vote from, and they transferred that person to another constituency
where he can not be eligible where he wants to contest.
Exactly. He was eligible to go and vote from there, but he was not eligible to contest from
here where he wants.
So this comes to me, and I have to say this to the general public. Even if you voted in the previous elections, it's a right, and they have been saying this. Go and check your credentials. You confirm, I'm supposed to vote from here. Most especially the youth. You can be here and you say, for me, I want to contest for a certain position under these special interest groups. And you will find that, yes, you belong to a certain village, certain parish, certain sub-county, constituency, and district. But you will find that your age has been changed. When you expect to be 29, you will find that you're 36. And you will not be eligible to contest under youth elections. So these things, for us, we take them in a light way. And like the way I have said, most of these people who are around town, the ones who claim that they are elites, it's very remorseful that I think I can give them 10% out of 100. The ones who have taken that step to see that, for me, I wanted to vote from here, and it's where the register says I'm supposed to vote from. And the majority of people who are university students during 2021 general elections, they were in secondary. So they voted from their localities. But this time around, I know what it means to be a student at the university. Or I know what it means to be a fresh graduate when you are around town. It becomes very hard for you to travel to village to cast your vote. And they are the same people who have not changed, who have not transferred their credentials, their particulars from the village setting to urban setting where they are. And that's what I was telling you, that the number of the voters Electoral Commission is projecting to be with when they are compiling the final register, they will not achieve that. It will not be achievable. Because now, according to, I have said this before, according to the statistics, the number of total voters that were captured in the previous elections, for this exercise, they have added only 1 million. Only 1 million. And it's clear that last year, 2024, according to 2024, Uganda's National Population and Housing Census, the population of Uganda stands at 45.9 million people. And it was clear, because the statistics revealed that half of the population is below 18 years. So that approximately makes 22.95 population, the citizens who are 18 years above.
Yes.
So when you look at that population, it means around 3 to 2 million eligible voters who are citizens of this country. they will be left out in this exercise. They will not be eligible voters. And this is not only the challenge that is going to happen here, but is also going to happen to the same politicians, to the same contenders who are running for certain offices. Because for you will be around saying, for me, I have numbers. You know, when it comes to campaigns, you get numbers all over the country. You get numbers all over the cross corners of a certain area. Let's say it's a district or a town council or a sub-county. But you will find that every person who is lying behind you is not eligible voter.
Let me pause you there, Regan. Thanks a lot for that deep analysis. Coming to you, Timothy.
Yes, please.
Borrowing from Regan, he has clearly shedded light on the stakeholder analysis that guarantees young people to be in the strength quadrant, that the majority of us youth would be majority in the election if we took interest in seeing that we update our national voter details to the register to be viable to vote in the 2025-2026. Besides the challenges I read that the EC Electoral Commission chaired by Justice Pierre Mukama note, what do you think in your perspective has deterred students, has deterred young leaders, especially in your community, from involving themselves in the exercise?
First of all, I want to speak, adding a voice to what he actually said, that the entire problem of this campaign has simply and squarely been the problem of poor sensitization. But then I want to distance myself from what he said that regards the youth. That with the youth, the university students, the fresh graduates, not taking the mantle to go and update our registers or anything. But the question is now that we can pose to the general public, even to the youth, to the Electoral Commission, to everyone in the country. How many youth know that there is what we call transfer of polling stations? Because when people stand to tell us, those who just take the mantle, the zeal to tell us, they just tell us there is update for.
Actually, the exercises involved include, let me read for clarity, for the extension. This is not a fresh registration of voters, but an exercise to enable Ugandans who have attained the age of 18 years and above and have not yet registered to participate in the election. A registered voter who wants to transfer to a new location or voting location must present confirmation that he or she originates from or is at this time of transfer application a resident of the parish or voting location. So the activities include being registering to be a first-time voter. It also includes transfer. So you can.
Okay. So now, like you read, the reason as to why the three of us are here, it is because at times we stand out to be beyond other youth. There is a way we look at the society and the community in a way that the other youth did not see. And there is one person who said, and we should not believe, we should think that it was not right, but it was right. If you want to hide information from an African, put it in writing. Okay? And that is a writing that you've read. The question is, even when we are university students, you people, let me tell you, even university students, we fail to read for the exams. That the reason as to why we've gone to campus or to school. We fail to read for them. But then you come and tell us that the general communication, you have put it in the writing. And you expect university students, amidst the hustle at campus, the fresh graduates, amidst running from town to town, from employer to employer, looking for jobs, to have time to go on the phone and read a 3-page document that has outlines of what is supposed to be done. That is not the case. The case is, these youth should have been, actually, the leaders who are exiting, before we got the Electoral Commission, Because the Electoral Commission, for it is playing its part. Actually, when it extends for 1 week, when it puts 21 days, it is doing its part. And when it brings that writing, it's doing its part. But with the youth, in our various centers where we reside, villages, campuses, in town looking for jobs, we must have had other forms of communication and sensitization to come and tell us about all that is detailed there. And then when we fail, they say we did our part and the youth failed, refused adamantly. But we have not been told. For us who know, we know. And for the many that don't know, don't know. And they are just doing things, they're just here. They just here, like now this one has been there. If I can just ask you, we who are here three, sincerely speaking, how many youth currently know that there have been an extension for 1 week in the villages? Not, let us not look here where we are. We look in the villages. We look in these what I call up-country institutions. From deep in the village, how many youth know that? And if we are to give them percentage, we'll find that only like 20% of the youth know that. Others do not know, despite the fact that we have smartphones, we have data, we have everything, but we don't know. Why? Because we don't read. And it is not our blame that we don't read, because many things we have not read. So I think these people ought to have had programs either on radios, because it is easier for someone to listen to something than reading it deep hidden. You sensitize people, these honorable members who are exiting, actually even those.
Timothy, I'll cut you short.
Yes.
You're going to start from the issue of publicity that you're trying to stress after our short break. Viewers, it is time we have a short break and we shall be back with the Youth Roundtable. Thank you.
Digital rights are those human rights and legal rights that allow individuals to access, use, create and publish digital media, or to access and use computers, other electronic devices and telecommunication networks. Digital rights include a right to freedom of expression, information and communication through technology, a right to privacy and data protection, a right to credit for personal works, a right to universal and equal digital access, a right to identity, a right to anonymity, a right to be forgotten, and a right for protection of minors, among others. The state's digital rights are frequently violated through various unfair actions, for example, blockage of websites and social networks, theft of credentials, unauthorized use of people's data for personal gain, privacy intrusion, online censorship, arrests and intimidation of online users, internet blockages, and the proliferation of laws and regulations that undermine the potential of technology to drive social, economic, and political development worldwide. It is hence every citizen's responsibility to respect rights of other digital users and to speak out or report to the responsible parties when one's rights are violated.
Welcome back from our break. As we went into the break, there was a key issue that is being analyzed with regards to the young people. Since we are on the Youth Roundtable, our key core assessment is how the young people have assessed the issue of extension. And Timothy, before I cut you short, you were stressing the issue of information and publicity in the ecosystem of young people in our country. Maybe proceed with that.
Oh, thank you very much and welcome back. So, to add on what I've been saying, basically, the youth, according to the census that was made last year, the youth total to a percentage of 27.7%. And that is a quarter of the entire population. And such a population that is a quarter of the entire population should not be definitely left in the periphery. Because you see, one prominent African, Chinua Achebe, one day, or in his book, Things Fall Apart, he had this to say that, he posed a question, that where are the young suckers that will grow when the old banana dies? But I want to say that in Uganda we live in today, we live in a country where the old bananas have refused to die, with the consequence that the youth, that even when they are leading and they are in their 50s, their 60s, in their 70s and 80s, they are still told that you are the leaders of tomorrow. So the youth today, I want to first briefly divert from the issue of publication and sensitization to bring in another highlight as to why the youth are actually not giving it a lot of time. The youth today have a general perspective and a general thinking that indeed politics and election of leaders and democracy, things around that circuit, are actually not benefiting them. Because we have leaders who have persistently remained there and they are conditioned to believe that they are the leaders indeed. And you will find someone ask you when you try telling someone, like at the university I tried telling some boys, because we were in a talk show of African Youth Leaders Forum. And as it concluded, I had to tell them, to remind them, but you guys, have you updated your voter register? Have you done something of that sort? Someone asked me, for what benefit? Why should I vote? I told him, but you are a citizen and this is your right and you must exercise your right. He said, what right? In regard to what? The question was, what was the benefit? What is the benefit? And indeed, if you can critically analyze, you can see that surely there is no benefit. So, if I want to give some little recommendations. One, if the sensitization of the youth is done effectively, either by the honorable members who are serving or by the honorable members who are inspiring to serve, because if you inspire to serve, then you take an extra mile to go ahead of us, get the information and bring it to us, and then we'll be conditioned to believe that you are a good leader. You tell us we have to do this and this in regard to voter update. Then the media, the government or the section under that should influence the media to come and give publication. But the next thing that should be done to condition youth to feel the mantle, because this is something of passion. I want to tell you that the youth or any other people in village there, to a percentage that is beyond 50, they have not gone for registration because they don't know. They might not know the real activities taking place like transfer, but they have heard of registration. And I hope if you go for registration, as you have heard it, they will guide you, okay? So they are not going even for that term registration in its smallest amount of expression, not because they do not know, they know, but because they don't have the passion. They don't think there is something that actually compels them or conditions them to go and be eligible voters. This is happening both in the villages and even to the part of the youth who are in universities, who are in the search for jobs, in the job market there, everywhere. So what is the recommendation? I recommend that maybe these youth around here should be given their pride of place in this game called politics. That they should not feel as isolated. And if they don't feel isolated, they will have the passion, they will have the will. To the extent that even I, maybe if I inspire to be someone and I feel I'm not isolated, then I will run forward to go and tell my people in the village, you know, I'm coming for youth councillor, please. And you are my people, you are the one to vote to me, we are in the age brackets. Please go and update so that when we come to vote, your votes can make me win. But when I think I'm not given a platform to exercise my rights in politics, then I personally will not go there. And if they don't know, they will remain in that state of not knowing because I've not gone there to tell them. So I suggest that the youth should be told, should be empowered in the game called politics, so that those who are ahead in thinking and in looking at things can go running to tell those people who are just remote there in the hamlets, there in our up-country institutions, or even in the city institutions where people have not passion to go for things to do with election and democracy and voting and so on, so that they can get the passion.
Let me pause you there. Regan, our brother Timothy here poses a question of momentum and passion, but he also brings up a question of inclusiveness. He justifies that youth still feel their inclusiveness, if put on a weighing scale, is still at a deficit. He still feels they are still marginalized on seeing an electoral process that doesn't favor their reasons, that maybe is expensive, maybe its results or processes don't always yield maybe to some of the expectation. But going away from that, you've made a lot of clarity on the status of the exercise. Let's give specific assessment to the youth and the young people. Where do you think, both in the national interests of the country, but also of the National Electoral Commission, where do you think the youth are placed?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. For that question, I'm going to give you the really needed answers. What do you really need there?
I actually need them. The viewers need those answers. They need the needed answers.
It's true that most of the times when we are discussing politics, we are the young people, we the Gen Z. The first thing that defines this is our interest. Right now, you might say that the youth are marginalized in politics. But then, how are we interested? Like right now, I'm going to give you a clear example. You have clearly said that the majority of the young generation, even an entire public, like 20%, they are the ones who are aware that the update of these registers has been extended by 7 days. But only 20% of the young generation, the generation that owns smartphones, that is always online 24/7. Just let me give you one scenario. Right now, when they say that the managers of Arsenal club have fired Coach Arteta from that team, even someone who is in my village in Chendari, within microseconds after that update, every person will be sure that Arteta is no longer coach of Arsenal. But and the other things, they always occupy same spaces,
same media platform,
same media platforms,
frequency wave.
Exactly.
Forfeit State is the reporter.
So these things, it's about our interest. How are we interested in politics?
We exchange soccer for our nationalistic issues.
And when we come to this, I can surely tell you and confirm that it's true. Politics here in our country, it's a game that has been commercialized. And you find that you have that eager, you have that zeal to go and contest. And you might find that even you're more updated historically and on current affairs of what is running within our territorial boundaries as a country, as a region like East Africa, continent Africa, and the entire world. But when you go on ground, because most of these big people, the ones I can call big people who are occupying certain offices, they have managed to know that these positions that are always gazetted for special interest groups, like youth from the village structures to the national level, they act as breeding grounds for the future leaders in national politics. So for us, when we come, when you have interests, you will be there, but we will find that even someone who cannot know the chair of electoral commission, even who is not aware of his sub-county, he will be there standing for the position with his notices that are changed to give them to the delegates, because you know we always go under electoral colleges when we are voting for such positions. Then on that point, it's where you find that youth, when you go with that zeal to contest, and you find that someone is just challenging you just because of money, you get demoralized. But then I can stand and say, we are the ones who take that money from those ones who are privileged, the ones who can manage to offer money during campaigns. We are the ones who take. And after taking, we come and saying that they are commercializing politics. Tell me the number of the young generation that can refuse money during the electoral processes. There are few people who can say, for me, I don't want your money. You have been engaging in youth elections. Even when they are electing these youth leaders, even when you show interest, when you declare your intentions to contest, where they first ask you, how is your bank account? What do you have? You're from which family? You know those things, and it's really there. Because I can confirm to you, youth leaders, like youth parliamentarians, the money they spend during the electoral processes, even it's not equivalent to what a member of parliament representing a certain constituency can spend. Those people, they spend more because they are always dealing with people who are a bit enlightened about the current affairs. Because when you go to a village during the public gathering, even you can give 10k, you can give 1k, but when you come to these people, they want money. And after taking their money and go to parliament, and they go and sleep, and they fail to represent us, they go on their vacations in these developed countries, then we start claiming. When you give me money, or when I give you money during elections, then it means you don't have to expect my services. Because I gave you money to give me mandate. So you don't have to expect anything from me. And that's what is affecting us. And I will keep telling you that when I talk of interest, you see, like the young people, because this extension of the exercise, it comes with extra costs. Because we have to know that Electoral Commission is going to cater for additional days in form of resources like data verification, administrative costs. All the things have to be catered for, and the Electoral Commission officials, they are not going to get that money from their pockets. It's our money. It's taxpayers' money, and we are facing all those costs because of our ignorance. I can call it ignorance because the system has been there, time has been there, but we don't want to go there. It's not only within this exercise where they are saying that they have not captured the targeted numbers to request for extension. Even during the census time, they extended. But when they say that they are issuing or they are disbursing money for PDM, that provision cannot come there. People, they've been knowing we have to go at our parishes and get money. They don't do extension. So for us, we are not interested in things that matter to us indirectly. For us, we always want things that matter to us directly. When they say that PDM is there, all of us will go there. When they say that these advanced mosquito nets under the program, undernet, they are being distributed, people, they go there. Because they know that they are going to benefit directly. I will go there, I will come with 5 nets. I will go at my sub-county, I will go at my town council, I will come with a sack of beans. When they are distributing most of these relief items, people, they don't do this kind of publication. They don't go on media sensitizing people that you have to come, or telling people that you have to come at sub-county headquarters and you get your 4 kgs of beans. They don't do that. So even this, for me, I know people, they always know this. Even when we talk of sensitization, it's for Electoral Commission can do whatever it takes for them to sensitize people, to feed people with information that this exercise is on. But then even with stakeholders, when we come to know, there are very many gathering places in our areas, like churches. Most of politicians, they look for votes in churches. You find that They are creating seats. After this one, you're going to speak, even when you're aspiring for the same position. But at this time, they cannot attend church service and tell people that you have to go and do A, B, C, D. When you go to marketplaces, when people are having these concerts, publication is always at the top bar. In these markets, in the ghettos, you see public address system moving on. On Friday, we have this one, Gwanga Muje. But when it comes to the thing that matter to us, that takes our money, we say, for us, we shall not engage in such activities. At the end of the day, when money is allocated there and results are not achieved, we complain. Like, I'm going to give you a small example. The money that is going to be invested in these 7 days can set up some of the governmental or public facilities. But we cannot know that. It's just because of our ignorance. So for me, I call upon the public, the stakeholders, people who can own some gadgets, know that this information is there. Because I know in our villages where we come from, you find that their family has no, even a radio, even a television, even a phone. And then you find that within a public, there is someone who is owning a smartphone. But what we can do to use our phones is just to see odds for betting and such things that don't matter to us. So I think it's about our generation to take a step, and we see how we can occupy spaces.
Thank you very much, Regan. Coming back to you, Timothy. Regan has pointed out an issue of effectiveness, but has also questioned the issue of sustainability. He has attributed it to a great impact of it to ignorance. Young people today, literacy levels have increased in the country. Young people today, schools, construction of schools in community have increased. Young people still today have access to tools they use for social enlightenment, like reporting sports media. He gave you a good story of if Mikel Arteta was fired at the Gunners, how the story would have more impact among young people in Uganda than their election. An election in any country is responsible for that country's next leadership for 5 years, but for the history of development, both democratically, economically, for the transformation of that country in the next 5 years. Coming back to you, borrowing from Regan's statements, what you did give a case scenario where you felt publication and sensitization has still been low among the young people, especially addressing interests. But where do you think in the upcoming exercises the Electoral Commission still has to embark on, should improve to see that at least for those who have managed to update their details can now be more motivated, at least to see that the voter turn-up will not be the same. The voter turn-up will not be the same like the update exercise. For those who have been covered so far, where do you think effectiveness can be created in the system of the Electoral Commission going forward?
Oh, well, Mr. Moderator, first of all, I want to speak first in regard to this side's narrative, because I believe that these youth round tables or any other civic engagements that do issues pertaining with the youth are there to critique you so that they do the right thing, but still they are there to show the youth that they are not entitled to blame. Because when we entirely blame them, when they are not entitled to blame, then it will also be a problem. So if I can just base on a scenario of Arteta being sacked, Okay. Now, a data is sacked. I want to imagine you have a phone there. A data is sacked. It will still take me back to the point I said that if you want to hide information from an African, write it. But now a data is sacked. It is not it is written, but it goes an extra mile to be in a word form.
They watch
Guess
it.
what?
They
Guess
watch
what?
him.
Guess
They
what?
don't watch via Wacom on weekend.
Okay, guess what? If you go to a TikTok handle now and a Teta is sacked, can you scroll 5 videos and 4 are not for Teta being sacked? Guess what? Can you scroll 1, 2, 3, 5 and you find that the 4 videos are not talking about Teta
I
being
want
sacked?
you to guide me on how I should improve that when I scroll 4 videos, I see one of the Electoral Commission.
Actually, because on these handles like TikTok, the things you follow most are the things they will bring.
You view.
You view. But guess
So
what?
we are not
Even when-
following our nationalistic
Wait,
issues
wait.
enough.
Even when you follow the Electoral Commission, trust me, you will not get enough videos. They are like 2, 3. Because I've been there to see, they are like 2, 3. You will see this girl, actually this imaginary pic, not a person now doing TikTok, but an imaginary pic designed by AI. They are like 1 or 2. But if a Teta is sacked, everyone is making a video. That one still goes to the part of poor sensitization. But that one is as if we have talked about it enough. Let me just talk about the issue we say that the youth are ready and willing to respond to the money from these people who we think they are privileged people. But some things are self-evident and have self-explanation. Trust me, we were seated here. 1, we must have gone through campus. 2, we must be in campus. 3, we must be in the field. So we know what it means everywhere in those 3 sectors. So I want to assume, like you will all assume, actually you can all tell, even not assumption, that this campus guy or this person who is seeking for that job sleeps on an empty stomach for 3 days, taking water in the evening, and it is real and self-evident because it happens. And now this MP, this man from a noble family, I call it noble, and brings money, I'm giving you 20K. Trust me, is it called corruption when I take that money? Because when we come here and analyze, it is not only analyzing, it is also giving solutions to what are the things that hamper our development or our attitude, positive attitude towards what we are talking about. So these youths taking money from what we call the privileged people, trust me, I must say it is bad here. But I must say that sometimes, and many are those times, when the youth are conditioned and they have no option other than taking that 20K. And in my opinion, it is not corruption because they have nothing to do. So the question is now, what should be the question is, what should we do to the youth so that they can have a stand of their own? To the extent that when they are given 5K, someone will look at 5K as nothing. Because trust me, when you sleep on an empty stomach, like at night you didn't eat, in the morning you did not have breakfast, in the evening I give you 5K, you will can't refuse to take it. So we must say, wait, oh, there.
No, you can interject in case you have information.
No, let me finish.
Okay, you can finish. You can finish.
So
The youth taking the 5K.
yeah, the youth taking the 5K. Before we go to that issue, which is in my opinion not good, but which I still say that the youth are conditioned to do that bad thing.
Environmental factors.
Environmental factors. So how can we, can the government, can the people themselves, can the leaders who lead us, first of all, can we, the youth who have passed through and we see things, furthermore, come to bring out strategies so that the youth can stand on their own? The answer can be we can, but the question is, have we tried doing those things? The thing is, actually no. And if yes, it is to a very little extent that every youth cannot access that self-stand. And if they cannot access self-stand, then we must do something before we blame them for having received that 20K. I say it's bad, but still I say it is, there are conditions that compel these youth to receive that 20K, and when they receive, they are not being corrupt.
So Electoral Commission should package something towards enticing.
No, we are saying,
give information there.
we are saying, wait, this is still my question. I'm saying that because the analysis of this particular topic not only goes to Electoral Commission, not only goes to the people concerned, like those who are going to update the voter register, the youth and the villagers and the other people, the civil servants, the public servants, but it goes to the general public to whom it concerns. Everyone who has a concern in this thing, that is the analysis we are making today. So if anyone or if any group of people is concerned to do that, not the Electoral Commission, because I've said, like I said at first, it is some kind of misleading to say that the Electoral Commission is not doing something. It is doing something. That's why it is putting the 21 days, extending. But the question is, the people in the side of Electoral Commission, are we doing something to ensure that there is smoothness of what is the target of Electoral Commission? Or for us, we want to say it is the part of Electoral Commission, and to think that maybe if it is to put right the issues of the youth, the Electoral Commission should package. No. If they are leaders, let them come and sensitize people on these views. Genuine leaders, I mean, genuine leaders. Sensitize these people on how to do self-projects, or give them what we call startup capital. Some leaders have done that, because there is a woman lady there inside of which Chitagwenda started something to empower the general public on the grassroots. The women are doing bakery, they are sewing, the men are making shoes, these sandals we put on, they are being made there. So that is what I mean, that when the youth are actually given that 5K or 20K, a youth can be able to stand and say, I have made my sandals.
I think the issue of sustainability is a key issue. But coming back to you, Regan, first of all, give your point of information before we go to the last round of the questions before we close. You did have an information to share.
Information I wanted to bring on the table is about money they give to the young generation during these electoral processes.
For consumptive purpose.
Exactly. You have to know that every system within this country rotates around politics. Even if you're not in a public office, even if you're doing business, even if you're a peasant there in the village, everything rotates on politics. So, and another thing I want to bring here, you have to know that within our country, we are living in enclave economy, where the few people are marginalized, rather few people are privileged, and the majority of the population
are marginalized.
Exactly. So those people who are there, we have to look at the ways how we can be in a money economy. And these are things, or these are policies that are always influenced by these leaders that we send there. So when we keep in this kind of culture, and we keep taking it as a ritual, that during the time of campaigns, you have to take some simple coins, you will take them, the problem is not going to be solved. What they have given you, you're going to consume it today, and tomorrow you will sleep on an empty stomach. So when we stand our grounds and we give it limit time, we be like, this is the time. Even if you come with your coins, with your notices, we don't want that money. Let us look at what can benefit us. And I want to tell you, when you look in parliament, even in district councils, we have those legislators who really stand and say, this is right and this is wrong, regardless of their political affiliations. Like when we go to NRM, we have people like Barnabas Tinkasimile. He's NRM. We have Theodoro Sechkubo. He's NRM. We have this. We have a legislator of. He's a legislator of Chinchis, East or West. The one who replaced Amama Babas in Parliament. He's called James Kaberuka. Even I remember that that legislator is NRM, but during SONA, State of National Address, even when they were reading budget, for him he refused to go there, and he's NRM. So when we get such leaders who can say, I belong to this party, but this is wrong. I belong to National Unity Platform, but Chagulanyi, what you have did here is wrong. I belong to FDC, here, Mr. Patrick Amriat Oboy, you're wrong here. It's when we are going to get people legislating and we get services, we get everything, as they say that there is decentralization. We get powers from the central to the local councils. We get services from the center to the local people. But when we keep here saying, I can get what I can get, then you go there, it means the state of enclave economy within our country is not going to end. We shall just keep lamenting on it. When we come to politics, we eat what we can eat. Then for the root of 5 years, we just be there starving, crying, where our leaders that we voted for.
I know you have answered my last question in a lot of, in your reactions to most of my questions, but allow me repeat it for purposes of the viewers and the record of the show. What do you think the Electoral Commission needs to address in regards to stakeholder engagement to see that young people engage themselves more in this election? Okay, giving an insight that we have a legislative package that it should uphold, that is Article 60-61 of the Constitution that mandates it to organize a free and fair election. Giving a fact that we have leaders, for example, the young people, you have the National Youth Council, whose one objective is that it mobilizes young people for such activities. We do have almost close to 3 million leaders in Uganda, but we see momentum in one of the key activities responsible for the growth of democratic principles. We see that the momentum is still lacking. So give your advice to the Electoral Commission and the young people outside there. How best can we see that we improve? First, as young people, where do you feel we are lagging? But to Electoral Commission, as a youth leader, besides that, I've known you for organizing an election in Kyambogo, which was free and fair. And I don't think the parameters for organizing a national election and a university election that you organized as a person who was in government then change much. It is all about the same systems. What advice would you give to the youth, but also the Electoral Commission, to see that going forward, the activities are highly embraced by the young people?
Well. Starting with what can be done by the Electoral Commission to see that they are bringing more young people on board to participate fully in these electoral processes. For me, I believe when these people, the Electoral Commission, try to show the kind of transparency within electoral processes and credibility and inclusivity, it can pull more numbers, most especially the young people, to participate in these elections. What am I meaning here when I talk of credibility, inclusivity, and credibility? When you look at the way how most of these electoral processes are being conducted, for example, right now, what is going to put down the majority of numbers from contesting is one. I'm going to give you a scenario basing on what happened in previous elections. You're aware that right now they have not fully demarcated the new electoral areas. Like sub-counties, town councils, we might be having them in a mere say just on the paper, but they are not fully functioning. I remember in previous elections, for me, I come from Mitoma district. They created a certain constituency. I think it was like 1 month
to the election,
primaries. And during the electoral process, they could say, for special interest groups, they could say, you remember, they followed old structures to vote for new structures. if you remember that scenario. So the newly created local government entities like sub-counties, town councils, for them they had no order structures. So people, like young people, could move to go and contest in youth elections and tell them, for you, you're not eligible here. If you want to contest, you have to contest within the order structures. That was the confusion which was there. And that process eliminated very many young people from participating in such kind of elections. So that is what I'm talking about. We want credibility. If we know that we are going for general elections, at this time, we are supposed to be knowing that we have town council A, sub-county B, and a certain constituency. When I talk of transparency, you know what always happened during these, during campaigns? Commercialization of politics. And most of these stakeholders, even who are leaders, you find a member of parliament is floating his son or daughter or son-in-law to take a certain position. It's true, they have a right. Even if you're a son to a minister or to a member of parliament, you also have a right to come and contest. But then there is this kind of mafiaism. For you, you have a register, because you a son to so and so, for me, I don't have it. You're getting me? For you, you can talk to a district registrar in case of any technicality, and they will feed you with information, and someone who is not entitled or who is not from a well of aware of family is not going to get such kind of information. So such things, they keep taking away the young people to participate in such elections. But when they come to stand on a clear ground and say, if all of us we are competing, it has to be a clear and fair ground. You will be in elections, you see someone you're competing with having bodyguards. The ones who belong to Uganda police, the ones who belong to the UPDF. Then you think that when someone engages in such election and maybe fails to emerge a winner, it means he will say, enough is enough for you to go there. Even is going to discourage the siblings that even when you contest, you will be wasting your resources and time. So Electoral Commission has to take a clear ground. If it's about disqualifying some contenders who are against the clear stipulated guidelines of Electoral Commission, they have to do so that they can create a clear ground that can even attract everyone to compete in that kind of election. Then for the young people to come, and how can young people come and take part in these elections? I always look at young people, be like, those of politics are for me, I don't want to know. Even for you, when you go to your area, when you go to Eastern Uganda, when you go to Mbare, and you ask people, even the ones who have graduated from universities, even I think there is the number of young generation can say, I know Jacob Boyeru as chairperson National Youth Council. I know Bernard Odoi as member of parliament representing the youth of Eastern Uganda. I know Agnes Charabo as member of parliament representing the young people of Central region here. Edison Rugumayo representing people of Western Uganda. Few people, they know that. And it comes when those people go to parliament, they always don't come on ground. They just go there and sit. Even the bodies that we have, even right now, it's very hard for someone to come and say these are implications of National Youth Council. Even a few people, they can know that even that body exists. So even for me, I also call upon such people who take those positions, even the ones who are going to take them in the forthcoming general elections. They have to do what they can do to occupy space, sensitize people, say this body is here. Even when we cause their roles, they might not be all that clear. But when we look at sensitization in different spheres, when we look at advocacy, when we look at empowerment, these things sometimes they don't need a lot of budget to say that we are going to come and sensitize people. Calling for a conference doesn't need a lot of money. But like during this exercise, we have not seen any youth leader, the ones who are in really elective positions, when we take it at the national level, like the chair of National Youth Council, even being hosted on a TV, calling upon the young people to come and take part in this kind of exercise. So that's the reason why these people, they keep there thinking maybe that for them they are not part of this. It's already discussed on floor of parliament. Then we call it a day. But when these people always come, even we have district youth councils, even when those people are there to take part and go to their different localities, say this is what we want to be done here. The youth can be like, really, this person who is addressing us from here is the chair of the district. So even me, I should also fight to get a such position, because I feel eager to come and address people when we are coming to 2031 general elections. What is going to inspire a young person if he is not aware of the current body that is handling matters of the youth?
Accountability.
Accountability is not there. So I think all of those things can be maybe put on board. We can also try to see young people and different stakeholders coming on board to participate in such general elections.
Thank you very much, Honorable Regan, for your statement on Electoral Commission and the youth to restore confidence in the process. Coming to you, Timothy,
Yes.
what advice would you give the Electoral Commission in regards to restoration of their confidence in the general public in regards to the upcoming election 2025-2026?
Okay, thank you very much. All what we want is transparency in the general exercise. So the Electoral Commission has to go an extra mile and to prove to the entire public that is working rather independently than showing people that it is working on the aspirations of other people. Because if you can analyze how it does things, you can see that there are people who can influence the Electoral Commission. So if it is to inspire people, if it is to rejuvenate confidence within people, then it has to come an extra mile and show people that it is working independently. How does it show people that it is working independently? Let it show everyone that everyone has a role to play, or everyone has a role to engage in, or everyone has a part to take, and they have to take that part without without later hindrances. Because, like he said, our youth there in the villages think that they are not part of it. Because, take for instance in the Western, right these days I'm amazed by the current campaign of the Member of Parliament for the Youth in the Western. There is a person who comes from they call it first family, and others call it people who went to the bush. And that person is trying to contest. And when you try to get the views of other people who are contesting and distant analyzers, you will hear them say, to my surprise, that one person said, you know what, assuming the feasibility and a reasonable chance of success, I'm not standing, because I cannot fight a winning battle, a losing battle, and left the campaign rather, because he thought in his opinion that there is someone from the first family, and that someone from the first family had the first-hand opportunity to take it, and therefore for him, let me quit as allies now. So that Electoral Commission has to remove that perspective from people, has to ensure that people look at themselves, even when they come from the so-called humble backgrounds or the so-called middle income backgrounds, that they can do it without hindrance. Then to the youth, because before we blame the Electoral Commission, before we blame the government, before we blame the leaders like the Member of Parliament, we have to blame ourselves first. Though even when we don't have to take the entire blame, but still we blame ourselves. One, if you are elected the youth Member of Parliament, yes, it is your duty, I think, and in my opinion, and I think my opinion stands to be right, it is your duty in the things you do to come back on the ground and show these people that they are indeed counted. That something you achieved, someone else can also achieve it. Or someone else can help a friend to achieve that thing. And in so making, when the member of parliament for the youth does it, when the youth representatives on the National Youth Council do that, when those at the district go to their sub-counties and villages and they are representing the youth and show the youth that really something can be done and it can be done by them, then the youth will come up. They will come up and have the zeal and have the mantle without any force, even without WhatsApp messages, without flyers designed, without these links, they will move because they will know what they want.
But thank you very much, Timothy. As we conclude, what would be your parting remarks for the show? Especially to the young people listening to you from Bishop Stuart University, from Barara, from Ivanda. What would be your parting remarks?
Thank you very much. Like you said, as we conclude, for the various places I've been in as a leader, I've realized one challenge with the youth, particularly in the places I'm in. There is a lack of self-esteem. Some youth think they cannot do it.
Esteem is a key issue.
Yes, self-esteem. Some leaders think they cannot do it. No, sorry, some people. Some students think that they cannot be here to speak. Some leaders think that they cannot influence others. Some students think that they cannot do anything rather than going to school and be called students. But my humble calling is, let everyone extract that one that is inside him that can make a positive impact to the society. And when you extract that thing and you see that for me I'm capable of doing this, bring it to its action implementation. Compel your fellow friends to come to your case. And when you compel one person, tell that person to bring another person. Because you have extracted something and someone you have called and come to your side will know that it is something good. Tell them also to bring other people. And when they bring other people, you'll find you have made a platoon of people and therefore you can do something. So let everyone have self-esteem. Let everyone think, let everyone youth take to themselves that they can do it and it can be done.
Thank you very much, Mr. Inoviona Timothy. It has really been a privilege and honor hosting you on the Youth Roundtable 2025. Okay, our parting remarks from our last panelist and the guest of the day. Mr. Regan, what are your parting remarks to the young people but also the Electoral Commission of Uganda? As we conclude the show, you have the final word.
As I'm giving my parting shot, for me I can say, if the Electoral Commission can manage this extension with efficiency and integrity, this extension is going to be a progressive step towards inclusive and credible election. And because as I have said earlier, they indicated clear examples that caused this delay, that caused low turnout. So it should not be a mere extension, but they are supposed to review and they rewire the system so that they can capture what has been, what has failed them to come to the normal progress of the exercise. And as well, I can say Electoral Commission should ensure strict transparency and proper voter sensitization and security in order to obtain public trust as we are coming to general elections. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our viewers. Thank you for joining us. To our production team, thank you very much for bringing us to the occasion. Stay tuned on Civic Space TV. See you again next Wednesday afternoon, same time, same place. Have a blessed weekend.